Welcome to Pine Harbor. I'm Jamie McGrath. Today we'll walk step by step through your Stony Brook shed kit. Let's get started. You'll want to begin by positioning the pack as close to your building site as possible. Before you start, open the pack and verify each part against the stock list and illustrations in your packet. If anything is unclear, pause and contact customer support. Clear the area of all debris and make sure you have the tools and safety gear ready. This quick check saves time and keeps the build smooth. Joists come pre-marked 16 inches on center. Lay out all joists in their correct positions before nailing. This makes the alignment easy. Ensure the box corners are flush and hold the joist flush to the top of the box. Fasten each joist with 4 nails per connection following the nail pattern shown. The next step is to level and square the floor. This is one of the most important steps. Taking your time and getting it right will ensure the rest of the assembly is smooth. After nailing all the joists, begin by leveling the floor frame on all 4 sides. Use different height blocks if needed. A sturdy base is essential. We recommend concrete blocks at each corner and the centers for any building over 10 feet. Place concrete blocks flush to the floor frame floor edge. Once level, check the frame is square by measuring corner to corner. A to D should equal B to C. Consult the plywood flooring layout addendum for your particular size. Start with a full 4x8 sheet in the front corner. Flush to all sides. Be certain the box joist is straight. Nail the plywood to the joist with 8D ring shank nails using the shown nailing pattern. Nail the corners first, then locate the joist every 16 inches with a tape measure. If needed, push any bowed joist in or out back to the 16-inch on center marks and finish nailing. Continue per layout diagram until the floor is complete. Next, we will begin the wall assembly. As you unpack the shed kit, keep in mind that many pieces are packed inside the walls. Keep them organized together as you unpack. We recommend having at least 2 people to raise the walls. Walls are raised front wall first. For the Stony Brook shed, the front wall is 6 foot 3 inches and the remaining walls are 5 foot ½ an inch. Position the wall frames flush to the outside edges of the floor. Use a speed square or straight edge to confirm. Hold the panel tight and attach it to the floor using 3-inch screws, 1 at each corner, every 3 feet and beside each door opening. Repeat for the remaining walls. Screw wall-to-wall connections at the top, center, and bottom using 3-inch screws. Keep the panels flush as you secure each joint. Nail the boarding into the frame where possible with 8D ring shank nails. Confirm the frame-to-frame measurement equals the building size. If not, check your connections and square the frame before proceeding. The top plates run the full length of the front and back walls. Place each top plate with the angled rip facing outward. It will protrude past the front of the wall. Using a speed square or straight edge to keep plates flush to the inside of the wall frame, secure one end, then fasten with 3-inch screws every 30 inches. 2x4 gable plates have been included. These fit between the 2x8 wall top plates. Repeat for the opposite wall. Assemble the rafters on a hard, flat surface, such as the shed floor. For a Stony Brook, rafters will have an offset peak. Ensure a proper alignment. Pair the rafters flush at the points and connect each pair with 1 3-inch screw or 8D ring shank nail per side. Align the gussets so angled ends are flush with the rafter edge and attach each gusset with 4 8D ring shank nails. Repeat for all but 1 rafter pair. For the last rafter pair, flip the short and long rafter before fastening the gusset so that it will face into the interior of the building once installed. For the outside gable end rafter sets, make sure the gussets face into the building. The rafters fit tight against the angled top plate lip. The top plates are pre-marked at 24 inches on center. Align the rafters to these marks. Ensure all of the gussets face the same direction. Attach each rafter to the top plate with 1 3-inch screw. Secure the angled rip to the rafter with a 3-inch screw and fasten from below with 1 3-inch screw. Because of the offset peak, gable boards install from where the rafters meet. Nail the first gable board at the seam, level it vertically, then nail it to the floor and wall frame. Align the pre-cut louvered vent holes before nailing. Install the remaining gable boards using the first as a guide. Install battens over gable seams with a 1-inch overlap. Use a screw to tighten board seams if necessary. Pre-cut pine end caps are included. Begin by installing these flush to the outside and bottom of the gable using 1¼ inch finish staples. PVC ear boards should hang 3/4 inch below the bottom of the pad board on the gable end. PVC ear boards are installed flush to the outside edge of the angled 2x4 rip on each gable end. Once all gable tops have been installed or ear boards have been attached and leveled, install pre-cut and assembled corner boards with finish nails every 18 inches. Check the plywood roof layout addendum for your particular building. Mark the sheets every 24 inches to align the rafters and serve as a nail guide. You may want 2 people to lift the first sheet into the bottom corner. Rest it against the angled top plate rip and flush to the outside edge. Nail with 8D ring shank nails at 24 inches on center, 5 nails per rafter per sheet. You can fasten a temporary 2x4 cleat to use as footing when installing the second row. Just remember to remove the cleat when complete. Before installing windows and doors, we recommend adding tar paper using staples around door frames, windows, and shed corners. Whenever possible, we will pre-install the tar paper where needed. When installing the tar paper around the windows, install the bottom strip first so that the side strips overlap. Windows come trimmed out. Lift and center the window, level starting at the bottom, tack one corner with a finish nail, then nail every 18 inches. If on a gable wall, run a bead of clear silicone across the top casing for water protection. For pre-cased windows, center from the inside, then level from the outside, then nail through the casing with 2.5-inch stainless finish nails. Cut out the 2x4 on the floor of the door opening, flush with each outside edge of framing. Measure and cut the door side casing if needed. Install the hinge side casing flush. Installing a small temporary cleat below the door will give you something to rest the door against when installing. Once doors are level, screw the hinge into the casing and remove the temporary cleat. Finally, measure the door opening from the bottom. Cut the pine strip to length if needed and install it below the door. To install the door pins, start by installing the pins to the top and bottom of the door. Then mark the pin placement on the top and bottom. Using a 7/16 drill bit, drill the hole for the pins. Next, install the door astragal on the locking side. Ensure the astragal has approximately 1-inch overlap with the pin side door. Use a level to ensure plumb and fasten. To install the handle, place the handle at least 3 inches above the center 2x4 on the interior of the door and mark it. Using a 1/2-inch drill bit, cut the hole for the handle. The back of the handle is installed using a 1/8-inch Allen wrench. For single doors, if the wall is less than 14 feet, cut out the 2x4s on the floor of the door opening. Install a temporary cleat just below the plywood sheathing, allowing you to rest the door while installing. Attach hinge side door casing to the building using finish nails. Make sure the door casing is flush to the door frame. Place the door in the opening, ensuring it is level, and attach the door to the casing using provided hinge screws. The door should catch the floor and door header by roughly 3/4 inch. Install the opposite side of the door casing using finish nails. Install the door head casing with 1/2-inch gap between the door casing and the door. The door head casing fits between the vertical door trim. Remove the temporary cleat used to hold the door. Measure the bottom of the door opening and cut the pine strip if needed. Nail it below the door using 8D ring shank nails, leaving a 1/2 inch gap between the bottom of the door and the pine strip. Measure the door thickness and install the 3/4 by 7/8 door stop inside the marked line. Install the backing panel above the center cleat using finish nails. Mark and drill the T-handle hole with a 1/2 inch drill bit and insert the T-handle. To attach the back plate, loosen the set screw, slide the back plate onto the shaft, and make sure the back plate catches the door stop and the door closes tightly. To install a louvered vent, place it inside the pre-cut opening, place the trim piece over the vent, and ensure it's centered and leveled, and then fasten with finish nails. Side pieces are installed plumb to the vent and fastened with finish nails as well. If your shed includes a ramp, attach the pre-cut cleat 1.5 inches from the door bottom and rest the ramp on the cleat. Ensure the ramp is tight against the bottom plate and screw it in to secure. For board and batten walls, we can move straight to the trim. For clapboard, mark the layout every 4.5 inches. Cut to fit and staple at the bottom approximately every 18 inches. For cedar shingles, lay out every 5-inch course using a double layer on the first course and then overlap the seams by more than 1 inch and fasten with 1-inch galvanized staples so they do not come through to the inside. For Everlast, mark 4.5-inch exposure and nail into the provided flange. Once siding is complete, we move to rake boards. Rake boards are pre-cut and installed on a plane with the roof and flush with the roof plywood. Use a speed square or straight edge to ensure that the rake boards are flush with the top of the roof plywood. Rakes are designed to go over the top of the siding and the ear boards. Ensure the rakes meet at the peak to make a tight seam and attach using finish nails. The fascia board fits between the back side of the rake boards. Secure it with finish nails every 18 inches. For the freeze board, begin by measuring the length between the ear boards and cut the freeze piece to length. The freeze goes over the corner boards, butting into the back side of the ear boards. Attach the freeze using finish nails a minimum of every 18 inches. Attach the drip edge to the roof sheathing with roof staples, ensuring it sits flat and straight against the fascia board. Follow IKO instructions for final shingle installation and complete roofing per manufacturer guidance. Walk around the shed and check. Square floors, tight wall connections, secured rafters, properly seated windows and doors, and a sealed gable vent. It's important to remember to paint or stain the prime doors within 30 days to protect them so that you can keep your warranty. Enjoy your Pine Harbor shed. For questions, contact 1-800-368-SHED or info@pineharbor.com. So thanks for building the Stony Brook, and be sure to reach out if you need any help. Happy building!